Halle Berry has long been celebrated not only for her talent and beauty, but for her resilience and authenticity. Across decades in Hollywood, she has remained a powerful presence, winning an Oscar, earning respect, and inspiring countless fans. Recently, she reminded the world that her influence goes beyond acting. In a simple post, she shared a message that wasn't meant to shock with spectacle, but to move people with honesty. The moment captured attention, not because of what she showed, but because of what she refused to hide, her true self. The post that stopped the scroll, the internet reacted quickly, as it always does when a high-profile figure shares something personal. At first glance, Berry's post seemed ordinary. A peaceful photo in her backyard, a calm smile, a quiet moment of relaxation. There was no dramatic styling, no extravagant setting, no sensational reveal. What made it powerful was the caption. Her words. She spoke about freedom, truth, and living without pretending. That honesty surprised people more than any bold outfit could have. Her message wasn't designed to create controversy. It was simply her choosing to speak openly. Boldness redefined. Boldness is often misunderstood as loudness, spectacle, or attention-seeking. But Berry's post redefines what it means to be bold. She showed that courage can be quiet and internal, not performative. The boldest act she committed wasn't visible. It was emotional and philosophical. She chose to express herself without filtering her thoughts for public approval. That kind of bravery is rare in a world where people are trained to perform for others. Berry's message suggested that true strength is not about shocking others, but about honoring your own truth. A message for adults struggling with authenticity. Many adults carry the weight of expectation, whether at work, in relationships, or online. Over time, people learn to hide parts of themselves to fit in, to be accepted, or to avoid judgment. Berry's post challenged that habit. She reminded people that living authentically is not a luxury, but a necessity. Her words encourage self-respect over approval and peace over fear. For adults who feel trapped by social roles or expectations, her message offered permission to step outside the mask and simply be. The internet reacts, support and misunderstanding. As expected, reactions were mixed. Many fans praised Berry for her honesty, describing her message as empowering and refreshing. People admired how she rejected the pressure to conform and instead embraced self-expression. Others, however, questioned her openness or tried to twist her words into something controversial. This pattern is familiar. When someone refuses to perform, the public often misreads them as seeking drama. But the truth remained clear to those willing to listen. Berry was not provoking anyone. She was living her truth. The shock wasn't physical. It's important to emphasize that Berry's moment wasn't about her appearance. The post didn't rely on revealing clothing or an attention-grabbing pose. The shock came from her honesty, not her body. That's what made it so meaningful. In a culture that frequently reduces women to their looks, Berry refused to participate in that narrative. She used her platform to speak about values and identity rather than appearance. Her courage lay in her willingness to be seen for her mind and spirit, not just her beauty. Quiet bravery in a loud world. In today's culture, loudness often equals influence. The people who get the most attention are frequently those who shout the loudest. Berry's approach was the opposite. She chose quiet bravery, sharing her truth calmly, without drama. That kind of courage can be even more difficult because it requires self-confidence rather than external validation. Berry's message proved that bravery isn't measured by volume, it is measured by integrity. She reminded people that the most powerful acts are often simple: speaking honestly, living sincerely, and refusing to hide. Facing criticism with grace, Halle Berry has lived under intense scrutiny for decades. She has endured harsh criticism, media speculation, and relentless public opinion. Yet she has maintained a sense of poise and self-respect. Her recent post reflected that mindset. She wasn't reacting defensively or trying to prove a point. She was sharing a truth she has lived by for years. That kind of maturity is rare, especially in celebrity culture. Berry's example demonstrates that you can acknowledge criticism without letting it control you. You can remain true to yourself, even when others judge you. Aging without apology. One of the most inspiring parts of Berry's message is a fearless approach to aging. Society often expects women to become smaller, quieter, or more appropriate as they grow older. Berry rejects that expectation. She refuses to dim her identity or reduce her voice simply because time passes. Her post showed that confidence, curiosity, and self-expression do not fade with age. Instead, they can grow stronger. She demonstrated that aging doesn't require compromise. It can be a time of liberation and authenticity. The lesson for everyone. At its core, Berry's post is a lesson about life beyond celebrity. Her message applies to anyone who has felt pressured to conform. In a world dominated by social media, people often perform for the gaze of others. Berry's words challenge that system. She encourages people to examine the rules they've internalized and ask whether they truly belong to them. Her message is a reminder that self-expression isn't about gaining approval. It's about claiming your life, your identity, and your truth. The ripple effect of honesty. Berry's post didn't just create reactions, it sparked reflection. Many fans didn't simply comment. They shared how her words impacted them personally. People began thinking about their own lives, their own fears, and their own choices. That is the true power of influence, inspiring through example rather than persuasion. By sharing her truth, Berry encouraged others to consider living more authentically. Her message spread beyond the post itself, creating a ripple effect of honesty and self-respect across social media. Redefining freedom. In a culture that often equates freedom with spectacle or rebellion, Berry offered a different definition. She suggested that freedom is being able to live without permission, without needing approval from others to express yourself. Her post challenged the idea that people must perform for acceptance. She encouraged her audience to reclaim their lives and identities. This is a radical idea because it shifts the power back to the individual. It suggests that authenticity is not something you earn. It is something you choose. Courage in authenticity. Halle Berry's recent post may have been quiet, but its impact was powerful. She reminded the world that true boldness comes from honesty, self-expression, and refusing to be controlled by external judgment. She didn't seek attention through spectacle. She sought peace through truth. In doing so, she offered a timeless lesson. The most radical act is simply being yourself. For anyone facing societal pressure, criticism, or self-doubt, Berry's message is a reminder that authenticity is not only brave, it is revolutionary.